Thank you all for your patience. Thank you for coming and joining our session. I know we're competing against lunch, so thank you for that, for the vote of trust. I know even though lunch here is not a big competition, but nevertheless, we appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to discuss today to cover a little bit about Power BI mobile apps optimized experiences. I'm Gabi Lehner. I'm a product manager in Power BI mobile apps team. I'm part of the team that is working in Israel. Together with me, co-hosting this session is Rory Gal, also a product manager in the team, and Ken Pauls, an FCPA and MVP, Microsoft MVP, that will be joining me later on for that session. Okay, so how many of you are using Power BI mobile apps today? So we see quite a few of you, but some of you are not using it today. So we'll give you a short video just to give you a context about the Power BI mobile apps, just to let you know what is available today on the apps, so you'll be able to understand the context of the remaining things that we're going to cover here today.
It's time to make sure your data travels as well as you do. With the Microsoft Power BI app, you get a 360-degree view of your business data at the touch of your fingertips. So you can do it all yourself, seamlessly and in minutes. Got time-sensitive issues? Create data-driven alerts that will keep you fully in the know via push notifications. Connect to your on-premises data stored in the SQL Server using ADFS and stay on top of all your KPIs and mobile reports. Easily share custom, collaborative dashboards, and use the touch-enabled screen to annotate files, drawing your team's attention to new insights or milestones. Instantly access out-of-the-box dashboards and reports that will help you discover insights in real time. Intuitive, at-a-glance visualizations give a quick overview, but you can also dive deeper into rich, integrated data and discover insights through fully interactive dashboards. A unique, chat-like experience that's tailor-made for natural language lets you ask questions of your data and receive answers in the form of charts and graphs directly on your mobile device. With 3D Touch on your iPhone 6s and newer models, you can access shortcuts directly from your home screen. Just deep press the Power BI app icon to get notifications, search, and last used dashboards. Filter your data according to where you are using geographic location. Microsoft Power BI gives you the power to monitor your most important business information right from your phone, so you can get immediate answers to your most pressing questions and bring your data to life.
When we started our Power BI mobile apps journey, basically we wanted to give a very good and excellent experience for users that are consuming the apps and give them an out-of-the-box experience that allows them, just a second, let me see. No. Okay. And give users an out-of-the-box experience that allows them to very easily get to their data. Basically, what we wanted is that users signing into the Power BI mobile apps and immediately seeing their content, seeing their dashboard, seeing the reports without the need to do anything on top of signing in. So basically, once you have an account in Power BI web service and you created some reports and dashboards there, you could go to Power BI mobile apps, download them, sign in, and get your data immediately. And that was the intent when we started the journey. For many users, it works very well. This out-of-the-box experience, which gives them basically, without doing any extra effort, get everything that they need. Some of the customers told us they wanted something more on top of that. We saw also that some of the customers started to doing things that showed us that they're looking for something in addition. So then we went into the Power BI optimization experience and we added some more capabilities that will allow users to get the exact tailored experience that they want to have on their mobile devices. The three principles that we worked according to in the optimization world were, first of all, control the layout. We want to allow the analyst to create a layout that is very accurate and fits perfectly what the user expects to get on the mobile device. He wants to be able to reorder stuff. He wants to be able to resize stuff. He wants to be able to decide what he wants to see on the mobile. Not always it's the same things that you want to see on the web, the same thing that you want to see on the web artifacts. So it's a bit different there. Also, we wanted to give advanced exploration capabilities on the mobile apps that will fit exactly the way that users use mobile devices and would allow them to use the exact controllers that they need to use on mobile devices that works on the small form factor and that are touch optimized. And the last thing that we wanted to have to make it fast and easy. Basically, the idea was to make it as seamless as possible. It's not effortless, totally effortless like it was in the out-of-the-box experience, but again, the idea that we want to make it very simple to use is something that goes along everything we do in the optimization experience. So one of the artifacts that we started with was phone reports. Initially, when we released Power BI mobile apps, we didn't have reports on the phone devices because it was very difficult to use the reports there, and we didn't want to give an experience which is not excellent. And that's the reason why we started only with dashboards on the phone devices and later on added the reports. Once we added the default experience of reports, we started getting feedback from users that they want to tailor it and make it a bit more just what they need. So as I said, we started with the default layout for the report, and later on we added an option to do an optimization for reports with the desktop, basically. So you can go to the desktop, you can open the report there, and then you can move your tiles around the visuals, you can reorder them, you can resize them, you can decide which visuals you want to see on the report when you open it on a phone device, and then you can tailor it exactly to the needs of your users. Once you do it, you get a phone report layout on the device that you are using, and basically it's working on the portrait mode. You still get the out-of-the-box experience if you tilt your phone and move it to landscape mode. So basically you'll be able to benefit from both worlds. You have the out-of-the-box experience on your landscape where you see all of the visuals, and if you go to portrait mode, assuming that you defined that layout, assuming that you made the portrait report, you edit it like you're supposed to, then basically you get it in the portrait view on your mobile device. Similarly, we did a similar thing on mobile dashboards. Basically, the initial experience for mobile dashboards was that we just took the dashboard like you created it on the web, and we try to understand whether you created the dashboard according to row ordering or according to column ordering. And we tried to add logic that will order the tiles on the right order when you open it on the phone device. So some of the users liked it very much, and for some of the users it didn't work perfectly, because sometimes users did some different things and they wanted a very specific tailoring for their phone layout, and that's the reason why we added the mobile dashboard concept. So this is the out-of-the-box experience for mobiles. You see the serialized tiles, you get them one after the other. We take them according to the ordering of the web dashboard, and we present them like this. You can also go to the web and then author your dashboard and create a mobile dashboard out of it, which means basically that you can go and you can reorder the tiles, you can resize them, you can decide which tiles you want to unpin, meaning you want them to stay out of the mobile view, because sometimes you don't want the entire breadth of the dashboard on your mobile dashboard. I want something that is more focused. And then once you're done with it, basically it's already updated on your mobile device. In contrast to the experience for editing a phone report, when you need to do it on the desktop and then publish it back to the service, you edit the mobile dashboard on the web service and it immediately takes effect. So basically you can see it immediately, and we'll see it later on in the demo. Another thing that we have on the Power BI apps is Power BI apps basically serve as the front end for SSRS and for Power BI Report Server that was just recently released. So up to now we had the mobile reports coming from SSRS. You were able to define them on the server to create them, and it was possible to outline the tiles there to make them fit the phone perfectly. And then when you consumed it on the mobile device, you would have been able to see that the tiles were ordered exactly the same way that you defined for the mobile layout, which was different from the way that you saw it on the server itself when you were using the portal. The new thing that we're adding now as part of Power BI Report Server release is being able to see the Power BI reports also when you're connecting to a Power BI Report Server. Basically, you have the Power BI reports on an on-premises device, and once you connect there, you get most of the capabilities that you have available for Power BI reports today in Power BI service. And you can also author the report there and decide what's the layout that you're going to use when you're connecting to a Power BI report server. So basically, the idea and the notion of optimization and defining the layout in a very specific, tailored manner goes across all our artifacts. It goes through Power BI dashboards and reports, and it also goes to Power BI Report Server mobile reports and Power BI Report Server reports. So this is something that we have available already today, and later on we'll go over some of the things that are going to be released very soon. So at this point we'll have a demo.
I'm going to do a quick demo here on a few different things here. So I've got a Power BI report that's built in Power BI Desktop. Remembering, of course, that all reports are built in desktop, all dashboards are done in the web. That's kind of the key piece here for optimization as well as for the actual construction. This is using a data set for a fictitious coffee chain in Canada, so we've got a bunch of these things that are pushed all the way across and whatnot. The most important thing that I want to sort of recognize on this, though, is that this particular visual right here actually has some drill down and filtering capability. It's got multiple layers, so if I were to go down and drill into a specific data point, I can actually see more stuff. Reason why this is important is because it does actually have an effect on the form factor when we look at it in mobile. This particular report has not been optimized for the mobile device yet at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly pull up the system here, and we'll take a look at what it actually looks like. So let me see if I can cast that over to my screen here and show you what it looks like on my phone. There we go. So when you open a report by default, what you get is you get this inspiring view that says, hey, you know what, you can look at it in landscape mode. And when you flip it to landscape mode, you'll see that you'll get your original report. Let me just minimize that, get rid of it. There we are. So everything works as you would expect for the most part. I can get in, I can cross-filter my visuals and do the things that I want to do with it. But one of the challenges that we have in landscape mode is that we actually don't have any ability at this point to drill down into our reports. So even though it gives us an experience out of the box, it's not necessarily ideal for what we're actually looking for. So this is a place where we actually look at it now and say, well, okay, that's cool and everything else, but can I go back and do something that's a little bit different in order to work through and play around with this. So let me just get out of this one now. There we are, cool. Excuse me. So how do we actually go about dealing with this? And it's actually not too hard. Basically what we can do is we can come over to our report. You actually get a hint of this, by the way, if you try and publish it without doing this. When you hit the publish button, it'll actually bring up something. It'll ask you if you want to save your changes, of course, before you do it. And then what it'll do is it'll give you, it's going to ask me to sign in, but it'll give you a message that pops up to say if you'd like to go and customize this for mobile, you can go into a specific place to do it. That place is on the View tab, and there's a big button here for phone layout. When you get there, you'll have a blank canvas, but all of your different visuals and artifacts are all on the right-hand side. So you basically get to go and say, all right, well, I'm going to go and drag and drop on the pieces that I want. They'll fill out to 3x3 squares. I can go and I can merge this or shrink these things down to get it into what I want it to look like. And all these things will slide onto the canvas nice and easy. The cool thing about this is that you don't have to use every single element on your reports. And that's really big because sometimes some of these things, even though they make sense in a big full screen landscape mode, don't make sense for your actual mobile consumption. So I'm going to get out of this one and I'll show you a report that we've actually done that's already been optimized. or sorry, already been optimized for the default mobile layout here. So it looks like this. So I've brought on my coffee cup, I've got a slicer, I've got a few of the tiles, but not all of them. You can see I left a few on the right-hand side here, and I've got some different reports. Some things to be aware of here. If you click on these tiles, none of these will cross-filter in this view. You've got no ability to edit anything that's showing in this view. The only thing you can do is drag them on and resize them. Okay, so I came from an Excel world that is that's a struggle for me because I'm used to having very granular control over every visual I have for every size that I want to see it at. So, you know, this is okay to start with, but we're going to see if we can do a little bit better. What does it actually look like when we push this thing out if we were to save it and publish it? Now, we've already done this, so I'll just pull up the app again and I'll show you what this one looks like if we go and pull this out. Oh, come on, you don't need that part. We need this piece. That's better. Okay, so if we go and we take a look at the mobile page now, what you'll see is that we have a very different view. Just by going through and dragging and dropping a few of these things on, we can actually still play with these. And now we can go in so you can take a look, you can drill into this thing. The report does filter down and everything looks like it's working here. If I flip into landscape mode, it still shows me the original report that we see in the full form factor for desktop, so we have that. But the other nice thing about doing this is that once we actually start playing with these particular visuals, we now have a little dot, dot, dot at the top of the right-hand corner here. So now we can click on this, expand to focus mode, and I can go and actually say, hey, you know what, I would like to go and drill down, show the next level. So now we can actually get into some of the other places that we actually wanted to filter to deeper level. And if I go and say, just show me Burnaby, and I go back into my report, what we'll find is that it's actually filtered down to just show me the locations in Burnaby, British Columbia. So I now have the ability to actually start using this and get a little bit more granular with the data that I'm actually looking for, which is kind of nice. The one challenge that I have with this guy, though, if I go back and take a look at the page here for our mobile here, is that some of these visuals are still a little bit big and clunky. And I'd really like to change this into a view that looks a little bit more like this. So the visual is a little bit smaller. I've really been able to take some control over them and whatnot. But the challenge that we run into here is that we can't, when we're actually looking at our individual reports here, we can't go and put them on the visual tiles and resize them. And yet my report here for this page still looks exactly the same. So the big question is, how do you do this? This is just kind of a trick. This comes from the old Excel world of where we hack everything to make it work quite well. It works like this. All right, so basically what I did is I copied all of the visuals. I went back and I set all the properties on these guys to be really, really small and everything else. And then you put something in front of it and you go to the Format tab and say bring to front. And now it's hidden behind an opaque visual. If you don't have an opaque visual, then you build a white text box, you resize everything down really small, tuck it in the corner, and stick a white text box on top of it, and away you go. So it's kind of a little hack, but it works out quite nicely. And you know, as you see when we go and we play with these things now, where am I here? What we can see is that, you know, it will actually go through and we can change the features so that we get a little bit more optimized in this particular area, which actually works out fairly well. Excuse me. Now, the next thing I want to show you is the dashboarding experience. So that's reports, that's the little cheats that we can play around with on those guys. The dashboarding experience, of course, when we're playing with dashboards, we do all of this inside the Power BI app online. So I'm going to go and just take a look at my dashboard for a second for MDIS, which is right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to play some games with this one and have a little bit more fun with it, because I think there's a really cool thing around the dashboard with the mobile optimization portion here. So I'm going to bring this across here. You can see that I've pinned 5 tiles to my dashboard. And if I were to go and take a look at this on my phone right now, what I'll do is I'll just move this across to the side so we can see them both at the same time. If I come back and I take a look at the dashboard for MDIS, I have done nothing to this report at all, and yet there's a dashboard for me. If I turn it sideways, it shows me the original, but it's actually put some smart intel to build me a form factor that's already ready for mobile. And that's cool and everything else, but you can see that there's some stuff on this that I probably don't need. It's, again, not really ideal. So what I'm going to do is, if I go back and just move this guy out of the way for a second, we have a little button over here where we can click on this guy and say, let's switch to phone view. And this will give us an experience that is similar to what we see in the desktop layout. The big thing is that a lot of these tiles are already here, so I can just grab this guy and I can resize it. I'm going to go and move him down to about a 2x2 block. And I'll take this one and I'll resize it. And we'll move him into 2x2, and we'll just put him right here. I think I'm going to unpin this guy over here. We'll get rid of him, and we'll go down and resize this one here and move it up as well. It's not playing the refresh game for me right now either. Normally, if your internet connection is good enough, you can actually watch this happen live on the phone. And for some reason, it's decided to play silly games with me. But this is a really entertaining thing to do when you've got somebody in the field, just to start modifying the reports on them. You know, use your powers for good, right? So at any rate, but it's cool. I mean, we can actually go through. I'm going to hit a refresh on this, and you'll see that, that it actually does come out looking a little bit nicer. I can remove one of the objects, or it's not going to. Here we go. That's a little bit better. Now, something else that's coming. This is not in the live version yet, but it is kind of neat. If I go back into the mobile or into my report here for a second, I'm going to go back into my optimized page, which is where this guy came from. And what I'm going to do is I'm now going to go and say, you know what, why don't we go and pin, I don't think I had my table there, so why don't I grab my table and I'm going to pin this to my MDIS dashboard. We're going to say OK. And you'll notice that it now gives us a nice little thing here to say, hey, this has been pinned to a dashboard that has been optimized already. So now we can actually go and say, whoops, a little bit too slow. Let me go and pin another one here. We'll go and pin this guy right here. We'll say pin. It gives me a link so I can click on Edit Phone View, and it will take me in and show me which new tiles have been added into this view, so that now I can actually know right away, hey, you know, there is a view that has been optimized. I've added something new to it. Maybe you should update that, and it'll take it in there. It'll do the same thing if you're pinning or if you're creating new tiles on dashboards from any route. We'll actually make this pop up and show for you as well. All right, and I think now I'm going to exit stage left here and let Gabby go and take over this one. So just go.
So I need need device.
You want that one, right?
Right. Okay, so basically now we are connected to a Power BI report server. We see the artifacts that we have in the Power BI. We see KPIs. We see a mobile report. And we see the new Power BI reports that are already part of the Power BI report server. So like we did in Power BI service, we can use the reports here. We can author them to make them fit the phone layout exactly like Ken showed. So we can go into a specific report here, and you can see it already authored. So basically you can have your reports either on Power BI web service or on premises, and you can see the same reports, you get the same functionality. And we are also releasing custom visuals as part of the release that was just announced. So that's all available now as part of Power BI report server. We also have the capability to show the mobile reports that are optimized for phone, and use them also as part of the, as what we have on Power BI mobile app that is the front end for Power BI report server. Roy, moving to you.
Okay, so back to the presentation. Which one is it? Right. So we've seen how you can, with fair ease, optimize your stuff for the phones. I wanted to show you some more stuff that we're currently working on in our labs. The first thing that I'm going to show you is responsive visuals. So our visuals work great today, but when you go smaller into phones, some people like to tweak them, much like Ken did today. And responsive visuals allow you to do just that with ease. So responsive visuals are visuals that optimize themselves according to the size they're allowed on the canvas. So why don't I just show you how this looks like and how this works real time. Right. So this is the exact same report that Ken showed us before, and he tweaked it and optimized it, and it looked great on his phone. I've added here another visualization, and I've set it up for responsiveness. This means that this visualization, as I make it smaller, will optimize itself to make the most out of the size it's allowed. So I just take this one and start making it smaller, and you can see that the axis names starts to drop. The visualization is changing to meet the size that it's in, or to make the most out of the size that it's in, up until a point where we actually can't show anything, right? It becomes a sparkline, but when it's really small and we can't show anything, it turns into an icon. This still allows me to go into focus mode and still make use of this visualization on my phone. So this really shines when I go and try to make a phone layout. So this is a report, and I've used Ken's optimized view. And you can see here that I have my visualizations, and they're arranged in smaller areas, and they still make sense. So this still looks great on my phone, and it requires no effort. I don't have to multiply my visuals. I don't have to redo parameters. It just works out of the box. Now, responsive visuals will preview with the next desktop release for all Cartesian charts. To make use of this feature for the preview stage, all you have to do is select one of your visualizations, go into the formatting pane, and just toggle the responsive toggle to on. Once it's on, it will just optimize itself based on its size. So I want to show you how this looks like on an actual device. Just flip here to my iPhone. And this is the exact same report as shown by Ken. And you can see my visualizations here are responsive and optimized, and I can still use them. And even if the data becomes really small, I can just touch my visualization, scroll with my finger, and still make sense of everything that is shown on the page. Now, I want to show you, I did like one tab with one visual across multiple sizes. So this is actually the same visual, just made it smaller, made it longer, and I even have the icon here that I can just double tap, go into focus mode, and still get the most out of my visualization on my report. Now, responsive visualizations work throughout Power BI. So if my visualization is responsive, it will optimize itself on a report, but also on a dashboard. So if I go to my dashboards, I can see almost the same dashboard that Ken created before, but now my visualizations are responsive and they look great even when they're tiny. Okay, so that was responsive visualizations. The next thing I wanted to talk about is something basically most of our users, or a lot of our users asked, which is filters on phone reports. So today we're going to show full support for filters on report, page, and visualization level for all platforms, all users on phone reports. So let's see how it looks like on a report. So we'll use the same report we've used before. I have set up some filters on this coffee chain report. Just wait for it to load. Yeah. Call it again. Just see if I'm still on the demo network. That's the problem right here. There we go. You must have a network for this to work. Yeah. Right, so the report again. And we've added a new icon to the report actions menu for filters. So I can just go into that and I can see my filters. So now I'm going to filter my report at the page level. And I'm using a basic filter right now. You can change it easily to an advanced filter if you like. But for my provinces, I actually have quite a few, so it's very easy to use basic filter. So I'm filtering this at the report level, and I'll filter my sales according to British Columbia. And that's all I have to do. I just click British Columbia. Once I get out, my report is actually filtered according to British Columbia. It's very easy. I can actually do multi-select here, select whatever I want. The report will filter. I can select all and deselect. And that's basic filtering. I just cleared the filter so the report will be filtered, cleared again. I can do the same at the page level, but here I want to show you how we did advanced filters. So I want to filter stuff that starts with the letter D. So I'll just click starts with the letter D. It's the same, very similar experience, very familiar experience to the experience we have on the web today. Apply my filter, and I can see a bunch of addresses at D. But I want to go and search or filter deeper and look into places that also contains the word creek. So I'll filter this, and I'll also say contains the word creek. And now my report is filtered to Dawson's Creek. So I thought I had a question. So filters are familiar and easy on the mobile device. We also have a visualization level filter. So I'll just clear that one so it will be available. And I can click the table, and I can click my ... menu and open filters from here, or just go into the focus mode where it's easier for me and and do a visualization level filter. So I can select my top, and I just want my top sales address. So I've just filtered my visualization, and you note that the visualization is now filtered for just one row. And if I exit the visualization and return to the report, note that the whole report is not filtered, just the visualization is, much like it works on desktop and on web. Right, so this is filters on phones. We really hope this additional capability will bring a lot of value when exploring data on the go. This was something a lot of people requested. So back to our presentation, I want to summarize what we've seen today. Power BI has visualizations. They work great. People love them. Today, we introduced the capability to turn them into responsive visualizations. So when you go smaller, your visualization optimizes with you and makes the most out of the real estate it's allowed. We have reports also. They work great. You get a great out-of-the-box experience. You don't have to do anything. It just works for you. But if you want to take it to the next step, do custom layout, add additional capabilities, you can go phone reports, and then you get more out of your reports. We have dashboards. Dashboards also work great, don't have to do anything. But if you want to, you can go and create a mobile dashboard and control exactly what people see on their devices. So I hope you are excited as we are with those capabilities and make the most out of them on your devices. Thank you.